President Nixon's domestic policy chief was quoted as saying in an interview, now this is a quote, this is a matter of public record, "We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or the black. But by getting the public to associate hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did." End quote. My question to you all is this: what has gotten any better? What has gotten any better in your lifetime? I want to talk about freedom, right? And I'm not going to talk about all the laws, about the 22,000 plus boomstick laws that there's on the books and all these laws. I'm not going to talk about that, but I want to talk about our nation and how it sees freedom then and how it sees it now. So the Korean War, ladies and gentlemen, was fought to fight communism. And during the Korean War, 54,000 Americans lost their lives. 103,000 Americans were wounded, and 8,000 Americans are still MIA at a cost of roughly $30 billion. Okay. Now, the cost is not as important to me, but I just want to go ahead and put that in there, because remember that the money that the government takes from us is really our freedom, because it's our labor. Our labor requires our time. All right. The Vietnam War, ladies and gentlemen, it was fought to fight communism. 58,000 American deaths, 305,000 wounded, and we're just talking about on the American side. 305,000 wounded, 2,000 missing in action, at a cost of $141 billion. The Cold War, all right? Now, the Cold War was not a kinetic war, all right? The Cold War was fought to fight communism. 400 deaths due to hostile attacks and secret operations at a cost of $5 trillion that was spent mostly in armaments. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring it forward to today. Today, after decades spent at war against communism, we find ourselves in the cusp of becoming that very same thing that more than 100,000 of our countrymen gave their lives for. And they gave their lives at the bequest of their nation. And that's not to include all of the service members or Americans that lost their limbs, lost their minds, and those who are still missing in action. So look at how we're doing a 180 on our freedoms. Where at one time we were fighting communism, and now a large population within the United States is fighting for communism. Poverty. In the United States, the U.S. has spent over $22 trillion on the war on poverty since 1974. And it's more than that, because the war on poverty, I believe, began in the late 60s. All right. So in 1974, the poverty level in the U.S. was about 10%. And after $22 trillion that has been spent to fight poverty, today the poverty level in the U.S. is about 10%. The U.S. spends on average $3,000 per person per year back then. Now, we spend in excess of $10,000 per person per year to fight poverty, ladies and gentlemen. In 2017, the government spent $668 billion on 120 different welfare programs, which averages out to roughly $5,000 per taxpayer. Now, am I degrading people that need help? No, I am not. However, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever heard the adage, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day? Teach a man how to fish and he will eat for a lifetime. Well, the government, ladies and gentlemen, they're into giving a man a fish that they didn't even catch, that they took from someone else, instead of teaching that man how to fish so that that man can become self-sufficient. That's poverty in the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Crime. In 1960, prior to the war on crime, there were about 225 prisoners out of every 100,000 Americans. As of 2019, which was the best number I could get, was going back to 2019, there's 419 prisoners out of every 100,000 Americans. So how has that worked out? Drug abuse. In 1971, President Nixon officially declared the war on drugs. When started, the DEA was given 1,470 agents and a budget of less than $75 million. As of 2019, there are 5,000 agents, so about 3.5 times as many, with a budget of more than $2 billion. Roughly 12 million Americans are misdiagnosed each year. 12 million Americans are misdiagnosed each year. Do we see any protests about this? No. Why? Because it's not being shouted over the evening news every single night. Medical errors cause an estimated 250,000 deaths each year. Medical errors cause an estimated 250,000 deaths each year. How many of you have heard that in the news? I haven't heard that in the news. I haven't seen it in an article. You have to research it in order to find it. An estimated 7,000 to 9,000 patients pass away every year from medication errors. And to finish it off, Americans are erroneously charged. This is the slap in the face, ladies and gentlemen. Every year, Americans are erroneously charged $210 billion on their medical bills. Pretty much money that they should have never owed. And how many people are there that have lost everything because of medical bills? We'll finish it off with debt. In 1980, the national debt was $908 billion. The income tax collected was $242 billion from 83 million taxpayers, who on average each paid $2,900 a year. 1980. In 1990, the national debt was $1 trillion. Tax collected $460 billion from 91 million taxpayers, who on average paid $5,000 per year. So in 10 years, taxes almost doubled for those who paid taxes. In the year 2000, the debt was $5 trillion. Income tax collected, $910 billion. Just shy of twice as much as 10 years prior. And that tax was collected from 104 million taxpayers, who on average paid $8,700 per year. In the year 2012, the national debt was $15 trillion. Income tax collected was $1.18 trillion from 102 million taxpayers, who on average paid $11,500 per year on taxes. And let's go ahead and fast forward to 2021, ladies and gentlemen, where the national debt is $28.7 trillion, with $2 trillion that has been collected in income tax. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about income tax, okay? Not all taxes, just income tax, the tax on your labor, right? The income tax collected was $2 trillion of 125.6 million taxpayers. And on average, that 125.6 million taxpayers pay on average $15,900 per year. So what has gotten any better? Ask yourselves, what has gotten any better? And is it going to get any better? Well, as far as taxes go, I went over with you all the U.S. national debt clock that shows that in the year 2025, taxes collected are almost going to go up double. And I do believe that it was announced not too long ago that taxes are going to be going up very heavily for everyone. And for those of you that make less than $400,000 a year, think twice before you think that taxes aren't going to go up on you as well. Because when taxes on corporations go up to 39 or 40%, whatever it is that they decide on, those corporations are going to pass those expenses down to you. Do you think that corporations today, businesses, whatever it is, do you think that since shipping containers have gone up in price from $3,500 to about $18,000 or $20,000, do you think that they're eating that delta, that difference in price? No, they're passing it on to you, ladies and gentlemen. They have to, if not, they'll go out of business. So do you think that they're going to pass these tax increases onto you, or do you think they're going to eat it? Obviously, they're going to pass it on to us. So taxes that are put on corporations, on businesses, especially mom and pop shops, because most mom and pop shops, if they do any business, they make more than $400,000 a year. So they're going to put their taxes, they're going to pass it right on to you. A tax on big business or small business is a tax on the consumer. So taxes will go up, ladies and gentlemen. So why am I talking about this? Because I'm hoping that someone wakes up. Maybe someone is here that hasn't been here before. Maybe someone will watch the rerun that hasn't heard this before and wake up to the fact that things are not going to get better in the short term. Things are going to get worse, considerably worse. And then maybe they'll start getting better down the line. That is why we have to prepare. Taxes and price of everything is going to go up again. And it's going to jump again here in the next month or two. So get the things that you need today. Get the things that you can. Get them now. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, I would rather have stuff than have money in the bank. I keep money in the bank, ladies and gentlemen, for two reasons. One, because I have to pay taxes. So I leave money in the bank that I have to pay taxes for. I leave that in the bank. And number two, excuse me, I hold about half of my emergency fund in the bank. I hold enough there to pay my bills for a few months. And then I hold back whatever cash I can in an emergency fund in a non-disclosed location to be able to pay my bills for a few months as well. That way, if the banks go down for whatever reason, I have cash to be able to work with. And then hopefully the banks, if they come back up, my cash hopefully will be there. Don't allow someone to tell you how to think and how to manage your life. As I've stated in the past, if that person does not pay your bills, you don't have to listen to them, right? And doesn't that make sense? When I say if that person doesn't pay your bills, you don't have to listen to them, right? Because if they do pay your bills, if they do give you the things that you need in order to survive, then you do have to listen to them. And that's even more reason why you should be prepared, so that you never have to give up your sovereignty to anyone else that has something that you may need in order to help your family continue to enjoy the standard of living that you have now and or to just stay alive. I went ahead and left a post on the community page, and it has to do with nutrient survival. All right, I'm not going to take long. I'm just going to explain this to you all. That way, those of you that are still interested can go ahead and have your chance to order. Nutrient survival, nor myself, had any idea that the demand for that preparedness kit that they put up for sale yesterday was going to be as high as it was. I was beside myself because I got a call from Becky about an hour and a half after the start of that premiere, and she said, we're all sold out. They already sold 100 kits. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And then they also told me that they probably received around 75, 80 phone calls and emails on top of that, asking to let them know when it was going to become available. They had not planned on selling more than 100. So they weren't ready for that influx of orders like they had. And I myself received several emails, and I even received some hate mail, ladies and gentlemen. But what I did is at 8 o'clock in the morning on the dot, I called Becky and I said, listen, we have to open this back up because there's too many people emailing me telling me that they really want to get a pack. Is it going to be offered again? And then she proceeded to tell me, yeah, I know. We got a whole bunch of phone calls and a whole bunch of emails asking when they were going to open it back up. So this is what we did. Let me go ahead and share this with you. this is what we did. The AP Prep Kit is back on sale right now, okay? Right now. However, there are a few sidebar notes that we have to go over. The link that is under the description of this video will take you to the landing page where if you want to, you can make a purchase. However, as it states here, number one AP silver coin will be included in each kit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I already ordered some. I'm going to go ahead and get them from Dick and mail them to Nutrient Survival. That way they can include them with each kit. That way when you get it, you get your coin right away. You don't have to wait. Number two, the AP10 code is still active through the end of September. All right, so the prep kit will be sold all the way through the end of September. Whether Nutrient Survival sells 3 of them or 3,000, it will be open through the end of September, okay? Along with the AP10 code, giving you 10% off any purchase that you make through Nutrient Survival to include the AP Prep Kit, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, expect 2 to 3 weeks for shipping. Let me explain to you why. When Nutrient Survival makes a batch of food, they have to send a sample of that batch that they made to a third party that evaluates the food to make sure that you, the customer, are getting what they promised you on the label. So they go ahead and do a quality control as far as safety, make sure there's no bacteria in there, anything like that can harm you. And they also make sure that it has all of the vitamins and nutrients that it states on that label. That way you are getting exactly what it is that you ordered. All right, you're getting full calories that are full of nutrients. All right, that way you're not being cheated, right? Whether by mistake or not. All right, so expect 2 to 3 weeks for delivery. All right, that's the big one right there. All right, and there's a limit of 2 kits per order. All right, so from what I understand, some people order more than 2 kits, which, hey, if you want to order 70 kits, as far as I'm concerned, that's fine with me. But in order to give everyone that wants a kit a chance to get one and for them not to run out of product, a limit of 2 kits per order. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? So that's what's going on. I've been on the phone back and forth with Becky and with Eric as well all day long or all morning long, trying to make sure that we can figure this out, because I felt pretty bad for those people that called in, because my understanding is that we could have easily sold 200 kits in the same time frame. They just did not have the capacity to take that many. However, if you're willing to wait a couple of weeks to get your order, they are available, and they will be available for the rest of the month of September at the discount that we premiered it at, and with the 10% off if you use AP10. Now, you have to make sure that you use the link that I provided so that you can get that 10% off. Whenever you don't use the link and use my AP10 code, it makes it extremely difficult on the backside of Nutrient Survival for them to try to match it with the order, right? Because the AP10 code was designed to be used with the link that I provided, right? That makes it a lot easier for them on the back, and you'll get your order a lot quicker, but expect to wait 2 to 3 weeks, all right? So that is the best that I can do for the AP community, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you what, the people at Nutrient Survival are great people, right? Very good people. They didn't have to do this, but like I said, first thing in the morning, I called because I wanted to make sure that everyone can get one that wants one. Because like I said, in my opinion, this is the best deal that I've ever seen them put out. And I really think it's a great deal. All right. So if you're in the market for that and you were one of those people that were left out, go ahead, use the link, place your order, and you should get your kit in 2 to 3 weeks. Good to go. Looks like you can teach an old prepper new tricks. Thanks for the Nutrient Survival information. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. I lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks, and my energy levels are up. I have to get back to work. Man, that is awesome. You know how happy that makes me feel when I hear that? And thank you very much, Good to Go, first of all, for the super chat. That's very generous. And thank you for the testimonial. That is awesome.